Let's take a look at what's going on with Dogecoin today, guys. All right, so here's what I'm looking at. The next levels I'm looking at going to the downside are these orange lines. I've been talking about this in my last couple videos, how I took a little bit of profits, basically where we're at right now. And now I'm trying to dollar cost average back in. I'm using these Fibonacci retracement levels as a place to put limit orders. So the first one is sitting at 0.39176 right here. Second one is 0.33589. The third one is 0.29192. I don't know how far it's going to go down, if it's going to go down this far, but these are the levels that I'm looking at. I got these levels from the Fibonacci retracement tool. So let me go ahead and drag that out. So we have a big run right here. We have a big run, and then once we start, okay, so when we have big runs like this and we think we're in trouble, not in trouble, but we might be starting to head down, we get the Fibonacci retracement tool. We drag from the bottom of the run to the top of the run, something like that, drag to the bottom to the top. That gives us those levels to watch. The first one, like I said, is 0.39176, which is the 23% level. Usually if we're in a retracement, the levels that I do like to watch are the 38% level and the 50% level especially. So this is the first one though, and then the third one and the fourth one, etc. I'm not looking at this one yet, but if we continue to move down, then that's where I would kind of look. Once we break one of them, then going to the downside, then I'll get more confident on the next one. If we break that one, if we break, let's say we break below this level right here, we go under that, boom, then the next spot that I'll be more confident on is the next one going down. Same with this one. Let's say we broke that one going down, next spot that I'd be looking at, and so on and so forth until we start going back to the upside. There's a couple different things. I mean, I guess we could argue that we have a top right here and a top right here, giving us a trend line, something like this. Let's say we go sideways right here for a while and we actually break this this downtrend. We break this resistance. Let's see. We have resistance giving us a trend line. If we could break above that, then we could start getting more bullish in general. But for right now, in my opinion, it does look like it's having trouble pushing to the upside. I was also watching this little pattern. I'm on the 4-hour time frame. We have resistance right here, support, giving me these two trend lines. I was watching this yesterday. I was kind of curious if I was wrong because we started breaking to the upside. I mean, I've been kind of having a little bit of bearish sentiment, not super bearish sentiment necessarily, but just a correction sentiment where I feel like we had a big, huge run up like I was talking about, and now I'm not going to be surprised if we have a correction. I took some profits out because I needed, real life stuff. I'll have to pay for stuff, but I needed to pay for some things. And so, yeah, that's why I took some profits. And now I'm trying to dollar cost average back in at these levels, something like that. So if we come down and hit these levels, I'm going to be trying to get back in, because I sold a big part of my position here. I still have a pretty decent position on my Ledger hardware wallet, and I'm not going to sell that until at least we get to $1. But I mean, so I don't care how long it takes. I'm just going to continue to accumulate on that, and then continue to accumulate on Coinbase. I have a little bit on Robinhood too, but I did actually put in a position somewhere over here, because just in case we did continue to move up, then I don't want to be completely I don't want to have no exposure. So I did put in like a little position somewhere right here as we were heading to the upside, just in case we did start taking off. I could take advantage of that. But it does look like we had this little rising wedge pattern. We had this top, we had this bottom, we broke out of it to the upside, but it was kind of like a fake out right here. Looks like we're breaking down right now. Looks like this candle went through the support, something like that, went down, broke through it, closed that candle below it. Now it looks like we're forming the next candle, which in my opinion, this looks like it's a breakout going to the downside. Usually in these falling wedge patterns, they are bearish patterns. Like I've been talking about them on my videos because we had a big, huge rising. We had a big falling. Let's see, where is it? We had a big falling wedge like not too long ago where we did something like that. We broke that resistance going to the upside, bullish pattern. Same thing with this pattern. If it's going up and it's getting tighter and tighter and tighter, something like this, that's usually a bearish pattern where it breaks the support and goes to the downside, as you can see right here. So we get something like this, tighter and tighter and tighter, break to the downside. The targets on a rising wedge and a falling wedge are the previous supports and resistances. If we go to the downside, the next places we're looking at are the previous supports. One of the supports lines up perfectly with that 23% level sitting at 0.39176. That's where my first limit order is. Let's see if we come down, hit that. I would like it to go down maybe even here. I've been looking at this level for a while already too. 0.3358 because these are the two bottoms, the two previous bottoms from that big huge run where we had a big huge run, came down, had a bottom right here, bounced up, came down, had another bottom right there, and then bounced to the upside. So I'm keeping my eye on this bottom right here, this bottom that I'm getting from these two previous supports right there. So that support line lines up very good with the 38% level sitting at around 0.33589. Those are the spots I'm looking at going to the downside though. Like I said, we broke support right here. It looks like we're heading down. Those are the next spots that I'm looking at as we move down using the Fibonacci retracement tool. That's mostly kind of it, I guess. Let's take a look at the Bitcoin to Dogecoin chart. Dogecoin and Bitcoin, should I say. This one doesn't look bad. We're still above this previous resistance right here. I've been talking about this on my channel. These lines right here, if we zoom out, are previous resistances. Let's go ahead and zoom out real quick just so I can show you. Resistance, line, resistance, line, resistance, line. Same thing going back up. So if we zoom out even more, something like that, resistance giving me that line, resistance right here giving me that line. There's some resistances right here too, but I think, let's see, where was it, where we're at right now, there was another one like right here, something like that, and that's the one that's giving us trouble. I think if we could break out of this resistance though, let's see, let me zoom out, sorry, if we could break this resistance going to the upside, the next one is kind of high going to the upside. So let's say we break this resistance right here, like I was just saying right here, boom. If we could break out of that, I don't see a lot more resistances. So if we could break this one, maybe we'll get a big move to the upside. I think one of the main things that I've been saying though is I want to see us stay above this line right here. So we have, like I was just saying, we have those previous resistances. Once we broke through this one, it seems like it turned into support. We came down, found support on it, got a bounce to the upside, came down, got support on it, bounced to the upside. In my opinion, I think if we could stay above this line right here, then that's going to be a good signal. And check it out, see what else is happening. We have support, giving me this trend line like this right here. Looks like we came down, looks like we're getting support on it. In general, okay, so this is the Dogecoin and Bitcoin chart. If this chart is going up, then that's good for Dogecoin. If it's going down, then it's good for Bitcoin. Excuse me. So yeah, if we're still trending up, that's good for Dogecoin. If we're breaking through these resistances, then that's going to be also very good for Dogecoin, and that's why we're watching the charts. If we start breaking to the downside of these lines, like let's say we break this line going down, that helps the bearish scenario. Let's say we break this line going down to the downside, that also helps the bearish case, or the bearish argument, should I say. Excuse me. So yeah, let's check out Bitcoin real quick. It looks like Bitcoin's still in this little, I don't know, pennant pattern, but let's see. We have resistance, support. We're basically inside of this little triangle pattern, bouncing in between these two trend lines. Are we going to break to the upside? Or are we going to break to the downside? I feel like Bitcoin's waiting for a breakout still, where we're still bouncing in between these two trend lines. It's getting tighter and tighter and tighter. It looks kind of symmetrical, where it's heading down, heading up, where we're getting lower highs, higher lows, forming this little triangle pattern, bouncing in between them. Once we break the resistance, or the support going to the downside or going to the upside, then we'll have a better idea of which way it's going to go. Or if it breaks to the upside, then we can get more confident on the 122,000 target that I've been looking at. If we zoom out, go to the daily time frame, I've been looking at this cup and handle pattern. We have a cup on Bitcoin and then a handle. We broke out of that handle pattern. We could drag from the top to the bottom of the cup, drag this to the breakout, which is the breakout of that channel pattern, drag that to the breakout, and that gives us that target of around $120,000 approximately on Bitcoin that we've gotten pretty close to. We're getting super close to it. I've been talking about this pattern for a while now, or this target, should I say. It looks like we just have another little like leg up to get to that little target. So, I mean, one thing that I was thinking in general is, like I was talking about kind of on Bitcoin. Well, I don't know if I was talking about it, but we had a run up and then we're getting consolidation. If we could break that resistance going to the upside, kind of looks like a flag pattern, in which case we could drag from the top to the top to the bottom of that flagpole, drag that to the breakout. It's not a perfect flag pattern, but something like that, and that might take us to the rest of the way to that target. So that's kind of something that I'm looking at. We just need to break the resistance line right here, going to the upside, and then we can get more confident on this target up here. But for now, it does look like it's having a little bit of trouble. Let's see what happens. I did go ahead and draw out the Fibonacci retracement box just in case it is the top and we are getting a correction. So let's zoom out a little bit. Like I was telling you on Doge, we have big, huge run-ups. Once we start thinking we're having trouble, we get the Fibonacci retracement tool, drag from the bottom of the run to the top of the run, and then that gives us levels to watch and dollar cost average on the way back down. So if we do start breaking supports, we haven't done it yet. Sorry, let's go ahead and get rid of that. We haven't broken supports yet, but if we do start doing it, these are the levels that I'll be watching. So just like on Dogecoin. So let's see. We have support, giving me this line right here. If we break this line going to the downside, the next spots that I'll be looking at are the Fibonacci retracement levels. The first one is sitting at around 80,216. In general, I think if we can stay above this line right here, these previous tops, so we have a top right here, we have a top right here giving us this line, something like that. I think if we can stay above that top line right there, then it's not going to be, then we're still good. We're still in a bullish scenario, I feel like. We could still get a correction. Like, let's say we're from where we're at right now, we go down to that line again, which is around 21%. That's not that bad for a dip. And there's like I was showing you on Dogecoin and Bitcoin, these were previous resistances. Now that we broke through it, let's see if we can come down and find support on it. And instead of it being resistance, like these areas, then maybe it'll be support and we could get a bounce on it and start heading up again. But that's what I'm kind of looking at. If we break the resistance though, let's say we come up, we find support right here, get a bounce and start breaking the resistance, then we can start getting more bullish, start looking at that target again. I'm kind of curious if we need a correction first though before we can start moving back to the upside. We've gotten big, huge moves on a lot of coins right now, Bitcoin, Dogecoin. So I'm wondering if we need a correction though. Can't go up forever. Sometimes, a lot of times corrections are healthy. So those are the things that I'm looking at on Dogecoin compared to Bitcoin and Bitcoin. Let's see if there's any other big movers. Uniswap looks like it's doing good still. Let's see what else. I think that about does it though. Let's go back to Dogecoin. Let's take a look at Dogecoin real quick again. So yeah, I'm looking at the main things that I'm looking at are the 4-hour time frame. We have resistance, support. Looks like we broke the support going to the downside. Let's see if we can come down and hit the Fibonacci retracement levels. It looks like this one's getting super close. The price right now is at .410. My next limit order is sitting at .39176. Let's see how far we go to the downside. In general, it does look like technically we're trending. We're kind of moving to the downside. Let's see how far it can go. Let's see if we could hit these limit orders. That's just my opinion. Let me know what you guys are thinking. I thought I was wrong this weekend. Like I was like, oh, I shouldn't have taken profits or whatever. I was like, oh, I kind of regretted it. Once we started breaking this resistance right here, because we had resistance, giving me this line right here. Once we started breaking to the upside and started getting these candles right here, then I was kind of worried that I kind of messed up and sold too soon, but or sold a good quantity too soon, but got resistance right here, started pushing to the downside, broke that support, started heading down. So it looks like it might have been a good trade or whatever, and we'll kind of continue to see though. But looking at these limit orders down here to buy in back again, let's see if we could come down and hit these levels. Next target I'm thinking at, which isn't even that far from us right now, is that 3917. I don't even really like using the red level necessarily, because if we're in a retracement, usually it's probably going to go down further than just the red level. On Bitcoin, it's a different story, kind of. I mean, Bitcoin kind of stayed in this area when we were in our last Fibonacci retracement on Bitcoin, but on Dogecoin, it came. I mean, if we look back, we had this big, huge run, came all the way down. It went all the way down to the bottom of the run. So let's see how far Dogecoin will go. Like I said, Dogecoin kind of has big moves up and big moves down. So I'm kind of curious. Maybe we'll come to the 50% sitting at around .29192. Or I don't know. We're going to have to wait and see. But these are the levels that I'm watching, and these are the levels that I have limit orders on. Let me know what you guys are thinking, though. If you guys like these videos, maybe you want to consider hitting the subscribe button, subscribe, and keep up to date. If you guys like this video, hit that thumbs up button. If you want to watch the last video, check it out right here. And if you're new to trading, check out this playlist right here. It'll help get you started with TradingView. All right, if you guys like the video, hit that thumbs up, and I'll see you guys in the next one.